Fitness education.
The plank. I'm sure you've seen this one done many a times. This is what we're working with here, the plank. This is nothing new, but we need to give purpose to why we do it and how to execute it properly. Why do we do the plank? It's finding the max tension within the plank that makes it the most difficult. But at the base of it all, what we're training is your posture. So when I stand up, I'm engaging my core in the same way that I train it when I'm in the plank. The plank, if we were to put you vertically like I did before,
There you are.
standing up nice and tall with your arms stretched out. This, if we had the floor there, would be your plank. You're standing straight up tall. So this is a good posture enhancement movement to understand how do I need to engage my core when I'm just standing straight up. So all day, every day is technically a core activity if you make it one, because if we used our core like we should in the plank when we're standing should be an active exercise pattern, essentially. I left the bear plank drawing up because similar to our glute bridge and a marching glute bridge, the bear plank leads you to how to set up for the plank. So we're going to start with the bear plank. So you're going to lift your knees up off the mat. Now we're engaged. The core is stable. The breath that you took to stabilize this, took a deep breath, you filled it with tension, you lifted your knees up, and you started breathing normally. While asking your hips to control this demand, you're going to take one foot and step it back from bear plank. So, and put it down. Okay, so when you step it back and put it into bear plank position, this is now challenging your body, a single leg movement. We're gonna step back into plank. So I'm asking my core to keep stable while I'm doing that, my hips to stabilize while I'm doing that, because we don't want any rotation from side to side. Now, with one foot pressed back, I'm gonna ask you to push the ball of your foot and your toe into the mat, and then step your left foot back to meet it. So our end positioning that we're going to hold now for 30 seconds is this full plank. When you transition from bear plank into plank, you don't want your lower back to move at all. If you could, imagine with me that there's a wine glass on the back of your back. We don't want that wine glass to tip over. Okay, so we want to keep the low back stable as we step back into plank. This is the challenging part. From bear plank stepping into plank, the challenging part is keeping your hips engaged and your core engaged as you transition back. Your triangle of tension goes from the ball of your foot and the toes to your hand and then up to the center like so. So this is the tension triangle created in the plank. Active engagement in the hands and feet pressing into the floor. This creates stability. Now actively keeping breath and tension within the core and the glutes and the hips, that creates stability then for the spine. Before you take this step back, you're going to take a deep breath in. You're going to lift your right foot up, step it back. Exhale. Control this movement. Paused. Now you're going to take another breath. Brace everything. Step your left foot back to meet it. And now remain breathing normally as you're holding this plank position. The breath. Breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Thinking about keeping all of the breath right here in your belly so that we're breathing the whole time, bracing the core and keeping the spine nice and stable. don't want your hips to sag towards the floor. You want to keep them up and engaged. Your core, right here, engaged. Breathing actively, pressing into the floor with your hands and pressing into the floor with your feet. For the repetitions here, we're going to hold plank for 30 seconds. Once you get up into bear plank and transition back into plank, that is when your timer starts. So if you're doing this together with the bear plank and the plank, we'll start in bear plank for 30 seconds, and then we'll transition into plank and hold that for 30 seconds. You may not be able to do that in the beginning, and you might have to separate them out. Bear plank for 30 seconds, and then rest, and then do plank for 30 seconds. That's totally a thing. I'm not expecting you in the very beginning to master all of these things and hold this for a crazy amount of time. 30 seconds is not that long of a time. 60 seconds of the bear plank going into the plank, now that's a little bit more tough. That's the rep scheme. Breathe, brace, control.
Here at Fit You,